The FDA is escalating its recall of Costco eggs to its highest risk level. Federal food regulators raising the alarm to include risks of severe illness or...
You think you are saving money every time you walk into Costco. But what if I told you that behind the cheap hot dogs, bulk toilet paper, and smiling employees lies a system designed to quietly take more from you than you ever realized? From shocking supplier deals, sneaky pricing tricks, and employee confessions to lawsuits Costco does not want you to know about, this story might change how you see your favorite warehouse forever. And trust me, the deeper we go, the more disturbing it gets. When you step into Costco, you are not walking into an ordinary store. You are stepping into one of the most carefully engineered shopping environments on the planet. Costco is a master of psychological manipulation, using something called the loss leader strategy to lure you in and quietly empty your wallet. Here is how it works. Costco deliberately sells certain items at ridiculously low prices, sometimes even at a loss. The famous $4.99 rotisserie chicken, for example, is one of these traps. They lose money on it every year, but that cheap chicken sits all the way in the back of the store, forcing you to walk past aisles of tempting bulk deals and eye-catching displays. And on your way, your brain gets bombarded with what behavioral economists call the scarcity effect and fear of missing out. Giant displays, limited time offers, oversized packaging, all of it makes you feel like you are scoring deals too good to pass up. Studies have shown that the average Costco customer spends over $130 per trip, even if they originally came in for just one or two items. One former Costco executive even admitted that the store layout is designed to surprise and delight customers, which is just a fancy way of saying tempt you into impulse buying. And it works. The wide aisles, the treasure hunt atmosphere, the constantly rotating inventory, it all triggers your brain to buy more than you planned. Even their famous free samples play a role, subtly encouraging you to try products you never even considered, then convincing you to buy them in massive bulk quantities. Before you know it, your cart is overflowing, your bill has skyrocketed, and Costco's profits keep climbing. But if you think this spending trap is clever, wait until you hear how Costco's aggressive supplier tactics have ruined small businesses just to keep those shelves full. Most shoppers have no idea what it really costs to get products onto Costco's shelves. Behind those towering stacks of bulk goods lies a brutal game of negotiation, where Costco holds almost all the power and suppliers often pay the price. You see, Costco's business model depends on keeping prices painfully low for customers, which sounds great at first. But to make those low prices possible, Costco aggressively pushes its suppliers into razor-thin profit margins. Small companies desperate for exposure inside Costco's massive warehouses are often forced to accept contracts that leave them barely breaking even, or worse, losing money entirely. Former suppliers have revealed that Costco demands strict pricing guarantees, and if a supplier tries to raise prices, Costco can immediately cut their shelf space or even drop them completely. One former snack supplier admitted they were making only pennies per unit after agreeing to Costco's demands, but felt trapped because losing Costco's business could collapse their entire company. And it does not stop there. Costco often requires suppliers to provide promotional allowances, display fees, and markdown contributions, essentially forcing them to pay for the privilege of selling inside the store. According to reports from the retail industry, some small vendors have gone bankrupt trying to meet Costco's volume and price demands, while Costco continues to post billions in annual profits. Even major brands are not safe. In one well-known case, Costco famously went head-to-head with Coca-Cola over pricing disputes, pulling the company's products off shelves until Coca-Cola caved to Costco's terms. That's the level of control we are talking about here. While customers see low prices, the true cost is being absorbed by countless suppliers behind the scenes, many of whom are trapped in contracts they regret signing. But this aggressive squeeze on suppliers leads to another hidden danger. What happens when quality starts to slip? Because up next, we are going to expose how Costco quietly shrinks portions, lowers quality, and disguises it all right under your nose. You probably feel confident walking out of Costco with a cart full of massive packages, believing you are getting unbeatable value. But what if I told you that some of those oversized boxes are actually hiding a sneaky trick called shrinkflation? While the package size might look the same, the amount of product inside quietly shrinks, and most shoppers never even notice. This tactic allows Costco to quietly pass on rising costs without raising the price tag, giving the illusion of stable pricing while you actually receive less for your money. Take, for example, one of Costco's most beloved items, the famous Kirkland Signature Mixed Nuts. In recent years, customers have reported that the container size remains identical, but the nut ratio has shifted, replacing expensive cashews and macadamias with cheaper almonds and peanuts. You are paying the same price, but the premium ingredients quietly disappear, and it does not stop with nuts. The rotisserie chicken that remains at a consistent $4.99? Some customers have noticed the bird seems smaller than in years past. The shrinkage is just small enough that most shoppers overlook it. But over millions of units sold, Costco quietly saves millions of dollars. Independent price analysts have tracked dozens of Costco items affected by shrinkflation, from toilet paper rolls losing sheets, to bakery goods with fewer servings, to snack bags holding just slightly less. The packaging stays bold and impressive, but what you are actually getting inside continues to shrink. This subtle strategy allows Costco to protect its low-price reputation while quietly adjusting for inflation, supply chain issues, and rising material costs. But as sneaky as shrinkflation is, it is nothing compared to what happens behind the scenes in Costco's food production. Because next we are pulling back the curtain on Costco's famous food court and revealing the shocking secrets behind that $1.50 hot dog combo that has stayed the same price for decades. For decades, Costco's $1.50 hot dog and soda combo has become legendary. It is one of the store's proudest marketing points, a symbol of their promise to deliver unbeatable value to members. In fact, the deal is so iconic that former Costco CEO Jim Sinegal once famously told his finance chief, "If you raise the price of the hot dog, I will kill you." But how does Costco manage to keep that price frozen for more than 30 years while everything else has skyrocketed? The answer is far more unsettling than most people realize. In order to protect this seemingly magical price point, Costco took extreme measures. Years ago, the company decided to cut ties with its original hot dog supplier, Hebrew National, when pricing negotiations reached a breaking point. Instead of paying higher costs, Costco chose to fully control production themselves, building their own massive hot dog manufacturing plants. This allowed them to manage every step of the process, from meat sourcing to packaging, giving them total control over costs. But that control comes with its own dark side. By vertically integrating production, Costco can source cheaper meat and use more aggressive processing methods to maintain their profit margins. Reports have raised concerns about the industrial farming practices involved, where animals are packed into giant facilities, often facing inhumane conditions to maximize output at the lowest possible cost. Employees working inside these meat plants have described grueling working conditions, intense production quotas, and little room for error. For the customer, the hot dog still tastes the same, but the hidden costs are borne by workers and animals far from the smiling food court. And Costco's tight control over its supply chain does not stop with hot dogs. Many of their private label Kirkland products follow a similar model, where behind the low prices lie hidden production practices most customers will never see. But the employees who work inside Costco's warehouses, they have seen plenty. And what they are revealing might make you question everything you thought you knew about Costco's corporate image. On the surface, Costco presents itself as one of the most employee-friendly companies in retail. High starting wages, good benefits, and positive work culture are often praised in the media. But behind those smiling name tags, many former employees tell a much different story. Stories that reveal a side of Costco customers never see, one filled with crushing pressure, impossible expectations, and constant burnout hiding beneath the surface. Former warehouse employees have described intense physical demands that few outsiders understand. The warehouse floors are massive, and workers are constantly on the move, lifting heavy merchandise, unloading pallets, and racing against tight schedules to keep the shelves full. One former employee admitted that during peak hours, they would barely have time to breathe, let alone take scheduled breaks. Managers closely monitor productivity, and workers who fail to keep up with the pace risk losing hours or even their job. The stress does not end on the warehouse floor. Cashiers face never-ending lines that can stretch across the store, with quotas on how many items they must scan per minute. Several former cashiers have spoken about the constant anxiety of trying to meet scanning speed expectations while dealing with impatient customers and minimal room for mistakes. And while Costco's membership model creates a loyal customer base, it also means workers often face entitled, demanding shoppers who believe that paying a membership fee gives them special privileges. Even the vaunted benefits come with a price. Employees have reported being pressured to work extra shifts, including weekends and holidays, to cover staffing shortages. Promotions are often competitive and political, with some workers describing toxic internal cultures that contradict Costco's public image of fairness. One former supervisor described it bluntly. "It looks great from the outside, but once you are inside, you see how much pressure management puts on people to make it look perfect for the customers." And while employees deal with the internal pressure, members are dealing with another kind of trap entirely: because next we are pulling back the curtain on Costco's membership game and revealing how those annual fees may not be saving you as much money as you think. Every year, over 70 million households willingly pay Costco's membership fees, believing they are unlocking massive savings. The memberships seem affordable, around $60 for a basic plan or $120 for the executive membership, which promises 2% cash back on purchases. On the surface, it feels like a smart investment, but when you dig deeper, the truth about these memberships gets a lot murkier. Costco's entire business model depends on these membership fees. In fact, most of Costco's profit does not come from selling products. It comes from selling memberships. In 2023 alone, Costco collected billions in membership revenue, which accounted for the vast majority of its net profit. Without those fees, Costco's razor-thin margins on merchandise would barely keep the lights on. This is why they aggressively encourage every customer to upgrade to the executive membership, even if it might not make financial sense for everyone. Financial experts have analyzed Costco spending patterns and found that the average executive member needs to spend roughly $3,000 per year just to break even on the 2% reward. Many casual shoppers never come close to spending that much, especially if they do not have large families or storage space for bulk purchases. But Costco's clever marketing makes members feel like they are part of an exclusive club, pressuring them to justify the membership by spending more. And then there is the hidden cost of overbuying. Costco's bulk sizes are designed to make you purchase far more than you actually need. Giant packages of produce, oversized snack bags, and multi-packs of frozen meals often lead to waste. Studies have shown that households frequently throw away significant portions of what they buy at Costco because the items expire before they can be consumed. In the end, the so-called savings can quietly turn into losses. But while members are busy trying to calculate if they are actually saving money, Costco has faced much larger problems behind the scenes. Legal battles, scandals, and lawsuits have exposed cracks in the company's carefully protected image. And next, we are going to dive into some of the most shocking legal controversies Costco has tried to keep out of the headlines. While Costco's public image is polished and wholesome, the reality behind the scenes tells a very different story. Over the years, Costco has faced numerous lawsuits and legal controversies that most customers never hear about. These cases expose some troubling cracks in the company's carefully maintained reputation. One of the most disturbing controversies involves serious allegations of human rights violations in Costco's global supply chain. Investigations revealed that some seafood products sold at Costco were linked to forced labor practices in overseas fishing operations. Workers in these foreign factories faced horrific conditions, including long hours, physical abuse, and no way to leave. After media reports exposed these connections, Costco faced heavy public criticism, forcing the company to review and adjust some of its supplier relationships. But critics argue that many global sourcing issues still remain hidden beneath complex layers of subcontractors. Then there have been multiple labor lawsuits closer to home. In several states, Costco has been accused of failing to properly pay overtime wages to hourly employees, violating labor laws meant to protect workers. Some lawsuits claim that Costco managers were manipulating time records or pressuring employees to work off the clock to avoid paying extra wages. Though Costco settled many of these cases quietly, the accusations painted a very different picture of how workers were treated behind closed doors. In another high-profile case, Costco was sued for deceptive marketing practices involving its jewelry department. The company was accused of falsely labeling certain diamond rings as Tiffany style, leading to a legal battle with Tiffany & Company that cost Costco millions in damages. Data breaches have also plagued the company. In several incidents, Costco customers had their personal information compromised due to security lapses, raising concerns about how well the company protects sensitive customer data in an age where privacy threats are everywhere. Each of these lawsuits chips away at the pristine image Costco works so hard to project. And as these legal challenges pile up, a much bigger question emerges. Is Costco's entire business model sustainable in the long run? Because next, we are going to explore why experts believe Costco may be heading towards serious trouble in the future. For decades, Costco has seemed untouchable. Its massive warehouses, loyal customer base, and steady growth made it one of the most admired retailers in the world. But according to several industry analysts, cracks are beginning to form beneath the surface, and Costco's business model may not be as invincible as it seems. In fact, some experts warn that the very strategies that made Costco successful could eventually lead to its downfall. One major challenge is Costco's heavy reliance on its membership model. While membership fees currently account for most of its profit, that income stream is highly vulnerable to economic downturns. If inflation keeps squeezing household budgets, many customers may start to question whether paying yearly fees makes sense, especially as competitors like Amazon, Walmart, and Target continue to offer bulk deals and home delivery without membership barriers. Once membership cancellations start, Costco's profit engine could rapidly slow down. Then there's the issue of supplier relationships. Costco's aggressive demands for lower prices have already driven many small suppliers to the breaking point. But as global supply chain disruptions continue, many manufacturers are less willing to accept razor-thin margins just to be featured in Costco stores. If more suppliers start pushing back, Costco could face shrinking product selections or be forced to raise prices, eroding its core value proposition. Real estate is another looming threat. Costco's entire model depends on giant warehouse locations with enormous parking lots. But as younger consumers shift toward online shopping, home delivery, and smaller, more convenient stores, Costco's sprawling warehouse footprint may become a liability. Maintaining these massive buildings is expensive, and shrinking foot traffic could eventually make many locations unprofitable. Finally, Costco's tight margins leave little room for error. Any combination of rising labor costs, stricter regulations, or unexpected global events could quickly turn its thin profits into dangerous losses. In a world where consumer behavior is rapidly evolving, Costco may soon find itself struggling to adapt. But before we wrap up, let's take a step back and remember what all this really means for you as a shopper. Because in the end, there is a much bigger takeaway hidden behind everything we have uncovered. If you have made it this far, you are starting to see that Costco might not be the shopper's paradise it pretends to be. From supplier struggles to shrinkflation, legal controversies, in a business model that may be headed for serious trouble, there is a lot more going on behind those big warehouse doors than most people realize. And this is exactly why we dig into these stories. If you are finding these eye-opening truths as shocking as I did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Every time you do, it helps us uncover more hidden realities about the companies we trust. And believe me, there are plenty more secrets out there that you deserve to know about. So what do we take away from all this? Costco is not just the friendly warehouse store where you grab oversized groceries and cheap hot dogs. Behind the smiling greeters and endless bulk deals is a complex machine driven by supplier pressure, aggressive pricing tactics, hidden shrinkflation, employee burnout, legal battles, and a membership system designed to quietly pull more money from your pocket than you might ever realize. For many shoppers, Costco feels like a way to beat inflation and save money. But in reality, the true cost is often hidden, paid by suppliers struggling to survive, employees under intense pressure, and even by customers themselves who end up overbuying, wasting food, or paying for memberships they do not fully benefit from. And while Costco has mastered the art of keeping prices low and customers loyal, the future is not guaranteed. With rising economic pressures, changing shopping habits, and growing competition, even giants like Costco are not immune to collapse. At the end of the day, the most important thing you can do is stay informed. Do not let the shiny displays and clever marketing blind you to what is really happening behind the scenes. Trust your gut, ask questions, and remember, the truth is rarely sitting on the front shelf with a price tag. Sometimes you have to dig a little deeper to see what is really being sold.